Barely Emerging is recorded on the lands of the Kaurna people. We at Haunted Cow Collective acknowledge the Kaurna people and all other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the sovereign custodians of this country. We pay our respects to elders past and present. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. So, the daddy of ready-mades.
That just absolutely fucking smacks of your English teacher being like, Shakespeare was the original gangster rapper, you know?
Yes.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Barely Emerging. Today we are serving up a plate of 2-minute Googles. I am Francis.
I'm Sid.
And today we are talking about the ultimate table flip, Dada.
Yes, Dada was a fucking table flip. It started in the throes of World War I, where everyone was just in their feelings.
Everyone was a bit hurt, a bit let down. Yeah, because they were all so excited to go to war. They were like, I can't wait to fight for king and country. And then they got there and they were like, this was not what was advertised.
Yeah, I want my money back, please.
Yeah.
So at this time, a lot of artists fled to Switzerland. So in 1916.
They fled to the neutral zone.
Yeah, they went to their safe space.
They went to their safe space to have a bit of a tantrum.
Yep. Well, no, they went to their safe space to have soirees at the Cabaret Voltaire.
That's just a fancy person tantrum, come on.
Yeah, artists, come on. So, yes, they'll have these fabulous soirees at Cabaret Voltaire where they would quote poetry, they would show all of their artworks and dances and music and all that sort of stuff.
So what was the movement about?
The movement was about nothing. It was very anti-anything. So, as we said at the start, flipping the table, they were anti-establishment, anti-bourgeoisie. They were even anti-art. So they were even anti what they were actually doing, but in the sense of art being this commercialized thing. There is a great quote by Francis Piccabi. It says, Dada alone does not smell. It is nothing, nothing, nothing. It is your hopes, nothing. Like your paradise, nothing. Like your idols, nothing. Like your politicians, nothing. Like your heroes, nothing. Like your artists, nothing. Like your religions, nothing.
Yeah, all right. Look, Frankie, you can't just be like, this is a movement about nothing, because you made a big movement about something.
Yes. Even though it was a very short movement, so much came from it.
It's just like, yeah, Dada is nothing. It is nothing. It's like, yeah, but in making a whole movement about being anti-everything, you've made an anti-everything movement.
Yeah.
It's not about nothing anymore. You made a fat lot of something.
Yeah.
It actually has a very distinctive smell, It's like
a very distinctive
smell. It's like you walk in, you're like, it fucking reeks of anti-establishment and wartime here,
This house is fucking messy.
Yeah, you're like, this house is fucking messy. These people obviously went through some trauma. I think in their great pursuit of not being about anything, they became about a lot.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
They failed in that regard. So as to be the bearer of bad news, Frankie.
Yeah. But I think the essence of what they wanted to do, that is changing a lot of ideas about who we are and what we are and all that sort of stuff, did change for a moment. But then we went into industrialization.
It's like for a good 6 months. Yeah.
So they kind of did something, but they also did nothing. But it was a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, Dada was nothing. But Dada was also the father of surrealism.
It was surrealism's Dada.
And that actually leads in quite seamlessly into why Dada is named Dada. It is a nonsensical word. It's something that a baby would say.
So it's literally like a dada.
Yeah, dada.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were just calling their movement daddy, and it was
no.
And they were really ahead of their time. Yeah, they were really ahead of their time.
So the daddy of ready-mades. Mademoiselle Duchamp, Daddy Bicycle.
Daddy Bicycle?
He introduced the idea of ready-mades.
That's just when it's like taking a broom and putting it in the gallery and just being all like, well, why isn't this craftsmanship an artwork. And everyone's like, you're right.
Yeah.
So that was it in a nutshell.
Yeah, the idea of ready-mades is the artists give an object.
Isn't it just like taking it out of its naturalized context makes it an artwork? It's like having the urinal but non-functioning and signed. It's having a shovel suspended from the wall so it's not being used.
Yes, but also the artist uplifts the object to this status, status of being art.
Yeah.
So it's not just about subverting the commercialization and the Marxist sort of stuff of
mass production.
That's the one.
So pretty much ready-made is just, why is that art? Because I said so.
Yeah, exactly. So then also from Dada, you've got photomontage. Photomontage is cutting up media, propaganda, and sticking it into subversive images. And then you've got Dada poetry, which Tristan Suarez has given us a nice little how-to of how to make a Dada poem. You might think it's really hard. You might have to go to school and... You're looking at me. So.
You can't see the face I'm giving Sidel, but I did not think Dada poetry was hard. I thought I just had to vomit some alphabet soup, rearrange it slightly, and then be like, because I said so.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
I don't know if it's coming across, but I actually do like Dada.
I know. I love Dada. Like, don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
But the fact that we are laughing about it is Dada. Like, laughing at yourself is Dada.
And also because I said so.
Yeah, and laughing at the regime, Dada. All of these things that could be against something is Dada.
So if you've ever just been a hater online, or if you've ever just left a real trolling comment underneath like a government post, you're a Dadaist, baby.
Dada.
If you ever called Scott Morrison Scotty from accounting, you're Dada.
You're Dada. Yeah, it is the plain going against the system. Having a tantrum because you said so.
Having a tantrum because you said so. So that was a nice little brief history of Dada. So what we can kind of glean from that is it was for about 6 months during the wartime. They were like, fuck everything because I said so. And then they made a very influential art movement that's bled into a lot of other movements since then. It
spread like fucking wildfire.
So I looked up a couple of the main players from Dadaism. I say main players. I pulled two at random. One of them is Hannah Hoch, who I'm pretty sure is a main player.
Yeah.
I think she was also one of the only women in the movement because remember, it's like 1916. So by society standards, she's just happy to be there.
Fucking queen for being there.
Fucking queen for being there, exactly. Another one I've looked up is just a guy called Kurt Schwitters. So he was a German artist, experimented with several different mediums. So he was a painter, sculptor, a graphic designer, an installation artist, and a poet. I think everyone in Dadaism was at least all of those things.
Yeah, because all they had to do was pick out some words out of a bag.
So his work's been associated with surrealism, cubism, constructivism, and Dadaism. So a bit of a multi-spanner. The one that I was really kind of captured by was his construction for noble ladies. It's a use of abstraction in collage and sculpture. So it's one of those great pieces where it's like, it's a 2D and a 3D at the same time. It's like a 3D work mounted on the wall.
Yep.
It's an assemblage piece. So it also exemplifies that like found object style that, you know, Duchamp was so lauded for. Oh, I'm so salty. Sorry.
There's other people out there, guys.
It's annoying because it's like I do like Duchamp. I just think because like learning about him at uni, I was kind of just like, you mean I need to write a whole ass essay on why this guy was like, because I said so?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's constructed of a variety of broken and disjointed materials. So a funnel, a metal toy train, broken wheels, other scrap objects. It also has a horizontal portrait of a noble lady from, you know, which is why it's called Construction of Noble Ladies. But it's just this really like fantastic, you almost don't know what you're looking at. Like it could be cubist landscape, it could be anything.
Yeah.
But then you kind of just pick little parts out and you're like, oh, that looks like a moon. That looks like a lady's like side profile. And you're like, that's definitely part of a bike wheel.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those works that kind of just like keeps on giving. Like there's parts of it at the top that look almost like a face. It's just for 1919, I think it's a pretty dope artwork. So that's one of the ones that kind of always stood in my mind at least. We'll put that on our Instagram so you guys can have a look at it. The main player though is Hannah Hoch. I think I've pulled up an article on artsy.net and the first thing it says is photo montages were the original remix. And that just absolutely fucking smacks of your English teacher being like, Shakespeare was the original gangster rapper, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Shakespeare was the original hip-hop artist.
Yeah.
So in the early 20th century, photo montages were just like the Dada spliced together images they'd found in like popular media, like agitprop, all that kind of stuff, to create like other artworks. Like one of my favorite is, I don't know what the German pronunciation would be. I probably should look that up, but it's called Flight from 1931. And it just has this like, it's a dude's face with wings, and then it looks like a child's body with like a grown-ass adult's hand and like half a monkey face.
Yeah.
Look like they're kind of going down a hill of some kind, but I think that is maybe a photo of like someone.
It's very reminiscent of the marginalia.
It is, yeah. It is very reminiscent of marginalia. You know, you just get like particularly the dude's face with the wings. Like it has that proportions of, you know, like when you're a child and you first start drawing things and it's just like a circle head with sticks coming out of it.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that. It's just like this face with stick legs and wings.
Yeah.
I think one of her most famous one, I can't find the English pronunciation, but it's called like Own Titel. I'm so sorry, Hannah. Please don't be mad. I do not know how to pronounce that.
I'm not German. I'm sorry.
Not German. I'm not going to pretend to be German.
Yeah.
I love a red background. I don't know what it is. I just love a red background.
Again, very Dada because of communist sort of.
Yeah. So it's like this one has all these like real kind of tasty underpinnings, I suppose. You know, like you got the red background, you have like the feminine. It looks almost like would you call that like Greco-Roman or like an Egyptian kind of like statue? It looks like some kind of, and I hate that I'm about to say this, but for the time would have been like a quote unquote like exotic statue.
Yeah. It's so hard because you don't know where things have been spliced from with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, the skirt could be Aztecian, it could be Egyptian.
Yeah. It has that. At the very least, it looks to be like a stone sculpture of something.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone alive, particularly at that time, would have had boobies that look like that.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely a sculpture. And then on top of that, you know, it's like you have it looks like a silver screen kind of like actress almost, you know, like that has that like bob haircut. You can see like the makeup and stuff, but it's like
very soft.
Yeah, it's like soft at the top, weirdly angled in the middle, and then you have that red background.
Yeah.
Which is just like so cool. My favorite one that she did though, and it wasn't actually during like the peak of Dada, it was in the 60s. So, you know, Dada might have only been for like, I keep saying 6 months. It was more than that. It was like 2 years and a bit. Fucking like 4 years.
Well, let's do our math
was
here.
it 50? Anyway, like it was
1916 to early 20.
Okay, yeah.
So it was only
like
a couple
4
of years.
Yeah.
So 6 months.
Yeah, so Dada was only a thing for like 2 weeks, but
a day at most.
But, you know, Hannah Hoch kept the torch running, I guess, you know. So she did a really, really, like my favorite one is called Little Sun or Kleiner Sun in 1969. And it is just this absolutely unhinged looking thing. You've got the sun, like it looks like a background picture of like a sun, but then it has this goofy ass smile. It looks what to be like a dragon's eye of some kind, like a lizard's eye.
Or even a bird. It could be any.
Yeah, actually, now that you've said that, it looks a bit like a bird. But yeah, I think just the complete unhingedness of Dada, it speaks to the time where, you know, the world as they thought they knew it got completely upheaved.
Yeah.
And so they just threw a fat tantrum and they were just like, okay, well, we're just going to start making nonsensical things because the world doesn't make sense anymore.
Yep.
But it really just speaks to the absurdist soul within, I think, a lot of, like, people like weird shit, you know?
We talked about that in the surrealism.
I reckon I said that exact fucking line in surrealism, but people just like weird shit. People need weird shit.
Yeah.
And Dada was the original, like
weird
the OG
shit.
Weird shit, you know?
And for the time, like, obviously you look at this work and yes, it's so completely weird. You look at weird shit now, very similar, very the same. It could be
it's
even
like derivative
weirder.
weird.
Yeah, exactly. So we said in the surrealism they were anti-narrative. Dada was anti-everything. So you can see why Dada was the Dada of surrealism.
Yeah. I remember seeing at university, but like I think Dadaists from my memory only had like maybe 1 or 2 actual like exhibitions, actual shows.
Yeah, it was not much at all.
Yeah, like the first Dada exhibition, the International Dada Fair in like 1920. And I'm pretty sure it's the only show that the Dadaists had. And yeah, they had an effigy of a German officer with a pig's head hanging from the ceiling. So So they say that it's about nothing, but that's pretty clearly about something.
It's
pretty clearly about something, you know.
And if you look at the picture, which we'll again put on our Instagram, the room is tiny. It's like there's a couple of chairs in the middle and then you're surrounded by 4 walls. It is tiny.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't have to have a landmark exhibition in, you know, like a huge palatial gallery space. You can have it in some dude's living room.
Exactly.
The merit of the art is the artwork itself. It's not how it's presented.
Yeah. And this is almost like, so you know how you've got the gallery spaces where it's far-reaching white walls. This is like cottagecore for the art.
This literally looks like a post office for the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's just things stuck up everywhere. Wherever you can find space, that's where something is. That's why the pig guy is on the fucking ceiling, because for one, it's awesome and nonsensical, but also where the fuck's he gonna go if he's not on the ceiling?
So the effigy of the German officer with the pig face is actually a work called Prussian Archangel by John Hartfield.
Such a cool name.
Which one, Prussian Archangel or John Hartfield?
Oh, the Prussian Archangel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say John Hartfield picked his name. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good compliment to him. He was born Helmut Herzfeld. Changed his name to John Hartfield in protest against, like, German nationalism during the war.
Nice. What a king.
Yeah, absolute king. So, yeah, he was one of the artists to take place in I'm just going to call it the Dada room. Yep. I can't remember what the official title was. Okay. In the Dada room. Yeah, his work was one of the standouts. So it was hanging on the ceiling, had a placard that read, "I come from heaven on high." So the on high referred, like, not to heaven, but for the ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was also words from, like, a well-known German Christmas carol. So that's also pretty funny.
Yeah.
It has, like, a sign dangling from the uniform of it. And when you translate it to English, it's a soldier's complaint that says, "In order to understand this work of art completely, one should drill daily for 12 hours with a heavily packed knapsack in full marching order in the Tempelhof field." So again, Dada's a movement about something.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's about just not fucking liking war.
Like, the pig snout on the face of the officer was obviously like an act of contempt by Hartfeld, who was a former soldier.
Yeah.
You know? He wasn't the only one who sculpted it, though. He was helped out by another guy called Rudolf Schlichter. And yeah, another
cool name.
Another very cool name. Rudolf Schlichter.
Schlichter.
That's fantastic. And yeah, like, I think they succeeded with that artwork.
They succeeded with the nothing that they wanted to portray.
I don't know. Actually, they didn't succeed with the nothing. I think they just succeeded in the terms of, like, this is a great piece of, like, anti-establishment wartime art. It's like the mindset of them being responsible for that, like, deliberate slaughter on the battlefield, you know, and, like, having literally, like, a pig head, you know, as, like, cops are pigs, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just a great piece of art, honestly.
And so when, like, people say that art is superfluous and all that sort of stuff, no, it's not. Like, absolutely no, it's not. Because you get artworks like this when humanity is pushed to such pains and people start speaking out and making art about it. It just, it sets my soul on fire, Francis.
I think what I love most about this story was that the authorities were obviously not amused by this sculpture, and they were charged with defaming one of, you know, the few intact institutions that were left after the war, which was the military. So they were actually charged for defaming the German military. They were acquitted, but yeah, like,
you get in trouble for saying shit.
And for a movement that was just so nothing anti-establishment, anti-everything, like, yeah, they really stuck it to the man, I guess.
They did. I love it. That's all we've got time for today, folks.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, long story short, Dada was a movement about nothing, about something.
And flipping a whole heap of tables.
I think, to be honest, though, like, if you were sold this dream about fighting for, I know there was, like, a big saying that was, like, fighting for king and country or whatever. Like, if you got sold that fantasy and then it turned out that you were pretty much just being, like, fed into a mincemeat machine,
yeah,
you'd probably be pretty fucking angry.
That was a great visual there, though. Sorry, like, I visualize that very completely.
Saw you gag.
Yeah.
I think you'd flip the table too.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, definitely.
And I think from having their ideals completely like flipped on their head, it's no wonder that they were just like, what's the point of representing anything if everything that we thought we represented was a lie, blah, blah, blah. So,
and it should speak true to modern times as well. There should be a fucking table flip, but
I've been waiting for the table flip for many a year.
Yeah.
Hasn't materialized just yet, but I have faith that it will.
I really thought when COVID came that would be a table flip.
That would be the catalyst for the table flip. Yeah, I know. But
early days.
Yeah. I mean, you're never going to get a bit of art as good as putting a pig face officer on the ceiling, but you can try.
You can try. Well, as always, take a look at our Instagram.
Exactly. Thank you so much for listening.
Yep.
We also have YouTube now as well. So if you prefer to, I don't know, listen to stuff on YouTube, go to there.
Yep. And you'll have a screen full of the spooky cow for the whole time you're listening.
We're so good at plugging.
Oh, yeah.
We're so good at plugging our own stuff. It's like, yeah, go to YouTube. We have a cow.
Yeah. It's same at Haunted Cow Collective.
Yeah.
So
At Haunted Cow Collective, we're pretty consistent. Our website is just hauntedcow.com.au. We thought it was less of a mouthful that way.
And thanks everyone who has been visiting the website. We've been working on it tirelessly and we're going to be hopefully getting a shop front with some merchandise.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to integrate a shop front onto the website, but hopefully soon you'll be able to get some cool hoodies with little cows on them.
Yep, like the ones that we've got on right now.
Yeah, we really need a better way to end these things. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Check out our Instagram for all of the artworks that we spoke about today, particularly Prussian Archangel, like you really got to treat yourself. All of Hannah Hoch's, like the creepy sun. Again, please, you need to treat yourself.
And say hi to your Dada for me.
Peace.
Please. Flipping the table.
You've been listening to Barely Emerging, a podcast by Haunted Cow Collective. You can find us on our website at hauntedcow.com.au, at our Instagram at Barely Emerging, or on YouTube and Instagram at Haunted Cow Collective. This podcast is made by emerging artists for emerging artists, and together we are Barely Emerging.
You can't catch me, oh Jack Sparrow.